Hi everyone, welcome to Virtual STEM Club Curious Candy. I'm Sandy, and today we are going to find out what happens when we add some water to some candy-coated chocolate. You should have picked up your take and make bag that'll have everything in it to do this experiment, with the exception of some water. Let's get started. In your take and make bag, you're going to find a small baggie with some M&Ms, a pipette for putting water around the M&Ms, a plate, and then you will need some water from your faucet from home. The first thing we're going to do is arrange M&Ms around the plate. So you can put your M&Ms around and you can do them in a particular order. You can put them all together. I think it'll make an interesting pattern if we kind of separate the colors so they're not all yellow, or whatever colors happen to be in your M&M assortment. So we'll break them up and see what we can come up with here and have a little bit of fun. So what we want to do is put them all the way around the edge of the plate and make sure they're touching like so. And there's no right or wrong answer with this. We'll just get as much variation in colors here as we possibly can, just so we can get the effect from our experiment. Looks like I've got a lot of blue and yellow ones in my bag, and that's okay. Whatever you don't need, you can set aside in your bag, but just arrange them so they're all touching this edge here. And I think maybe we need one more. Let's see what color we can come up with. Okay. So now that we've got our M&Ms arranged, we want to add water to that. And you can take your pipette, and this is just a little plastic dropper. Squeeze it in your water, squeeze this end, the big fat end, and when you let go, water will come up into the pipette. I don't know if you can see that or not. And you just squirt it on the plate. And just do that as many times as it takes to fill your plate. And you just want enough water so that it's touching, so the bottom of your plate is covered and that it's touching the M&Ms. And if it feels like it's taking a long time, you can also carefully pour the water onto your plate. You don't want too much, but again, we're just pouring, or using your pipette. You want to make sure the bottom of your plate is covered, though. That's one of the secrets to this project. And as you can see, the M&Ms that the water touched first, the color is starting to come off of them. And we'll just put a little more water so we can get that all covered. All right, so now we have our entire bottom of our plate covered with water. And you can see colors are starting to come from the M&Ms, and the color is going towards the center of the plate. And that's what we expected it to do. And what is happening is the water is dissolving that hard candy coating. And so it'll take a few minutes. You can just watch all the fun designs develop in your the bottom of your plate. One thing to note while you're doing this experiment, I wouldn't move the plate, because if you move the plate, it's going to mix all those colors together and then you're just going to end up with brown. So probably 5 minutes is about all it's going to take. you can see it's moving pretty rapidly and it's all heading towards the center. So the longer it sits, the more color is going to come off, and they're just going to keep going and going and going, and then we'll watch and see what happens once the colors start to meet in the middle. And so while our coloring is moving, it's fun to watch and see how it's not really a straight line. We've got some fun squiggles going on over here. This one looks pretty straight. And then this green and yellow kind of are almost merging. And this blue and this green are kind of, or excuse me, the blue and the yellow are kind of mixing to make a little bit of green over here. The colors are kind of mixing a little bit, but you can still see the individual colors. But it's kind of curious to kind of figure out why this one and this one went kind of squiggly and the rest of them are going straight. And it's probably been about 3 or 4 minutes since we put our water in. And it's just still slowly going towards the middle. And I don't know, maybe bumping the table might be what's making the lines of color kind of move around. And see this one, the orange is kind of pushing the blue over. It's just kind of fun to watch and see what happens with this. And this side, for some reason, doesn't seem to be growing all that much. I don't know if maybe our table's not quite level. I'm not really sure why it's doing that. We're getting closer and closer to our sides all meeting. It doesn't look to be exactly in the center though. Interesting. And it seems like we're getting more and more squiggles in our pattern here as the coloring is dissolving and moving through the water. And this one's kind of going around. And it's getting closer. We're down to maybe just over a quarter size area of water here that's not filled with color. And I can't really see that any one color is moving faster than the other. They're just all kind of heading towards the center of the plate. But I do see over here our blue and our yellows are mixing and making more green than individual colors. Same kind of thing over here, which is something that when you play with colors, if you mix like yellow and blue, that does make green. Blue and red will mix for purple, and that looks to be maybe kind of purpley in Trying to see any other colors in there that are mixing to make different colors, and I don't see any. But now we're down to about a quarter size spot that's not all covered in color. It's just all slowly moving through the water, closing up the gap. And then what's happening here, what the point of this experiment is that the M&Ms have a hard shell, and the shell is made of water-soluble color. So when the water is touching the M&Ms, the colors begin to dissolve and run into the water. And because of the shape of our plate, which is a circle, and the positioning of the M&Ms, which we put right up against the edge of the plate, the colors have nowhere to go except the center of the plate. And that's why this experiment works like that. That's why the color is not flowing in a circle. It's just because the plate is kind of tilted like this, and it's making the colors run towards the center. And that's what happened in this case. Our plate might not be totally level, and I think that's probably why these streaks are shorter than the ones on this side. But it looks like our experiment was a success, and that the water is dissolving the colors on these M&Ms, and they're running to make pretty patterns in the water. Thanks for joining us today for Virtual STEM Club Curious Candy. I hope this was a fun experiment for you, and we look forward to seeing you next time. If you do have any pictures or video doing this project, we'd love to see them, and you can share them with us at the email address coming across the screen now. See you later.